Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the post-match pint in association with Purity. Four very annoyed Villa fans on the screen. Chris Dolan and Neil, as usual. And as you can see, we're also joined by a very special guest. I got his rank wrong in the line of duty the other week. It is Nigel Boyle, a.k.a. DSU Buckles from the line of duty, as George's big Villa fan. Great to have you on, Nigel. Your character's in a bit of trouble in line of duty. We won't ask you for any spoilers, and Villa unfortunately found themselves in a little bit of trouble in stoppage time themselves, and in the end, an annoying defeat, wasn't it, Nigel?
Oh, I'm gutted, mate. Absolutely deflated after that. I thought we were going to get something out of the game, and we just, with that last attack, I thought Ross Barkley was going to get a shot on, and he didn't, and they countered, and it's just a killer because we looked like we were up for it, and we weren't scared of them. We wanted to go on and win the game, and when a sucker punch like that happens right at the death, I mean, a great goal, taking nothing away from Trent, but it's just hard to take, isn't it?
Yeah, to coin a line of duty phrase, I'd say it was total bastard bollocks, to be honest. I'm surprised at how annoyed by it I am, because Dolan, we said in the preview, like, Liverpool haven't won at home for nearly 4 months. They hadn't scored a goal at Anfield for 3 games. It really felt like, yeah, this will be typical Villa. We'll rock up and we'll lose. And in the end, I do kind of feel like we rolled out the red carpet to them a little bit, because I thought they were there to be got out all game. But we had moments as the game was going on. I felt like we might be the ones to win it. But you were obviously texting me saying Liverpool will score and win this near the end. And that's exactly what happened. But it does feel like we could have got something today.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I'm obviously really pissed off, but it just doesn't surprise me, you know. Any team that needs a victory, any team that needs to score, any team that needs to get their season back on track, just play us and we'll make it happen. And that's the sad thing about it, you know. I don't think they weren't great. I don't think it wasn't a particularly great game.
It's the worst Liverpool side for a good few years.
Yeah. We didn't lay a glove on them really, and I just couldn't do the basics right. Just time and time again, just loose passes, you know, some really awful decisions. I mean, that I don't know what Troy was thinking for that crossfield ball in the first half, but just really awful decisions, and you know, it's just kind of what it feels like to support a team on the beach. I don't know, but it shows in a way how far we've come, that we're gutted that we didn't pick anything up from Anfield. And I thought a point would have probably been deserved overall. I thought we had a couple of chances, and Trez hitting the post was really unlucky. And yeah, it's just one of those, man. I mean, you can see it coming. They had us under the cosh for most of the game, and I just don't think we really sort of laid a glove on them, and it was a little bit tentative, and it's just not what we've been used to this season. And I've said it before, I just do not want the season to fizzle out, you know, though, because it's been such a great season overall, and our last 7 or 8 games are tough. They're really tough, and so Leeds winning today makes it a little bit trickier to try and keep that top half place, which is what I'm after this season. But yeah, we'll see what happens against City in a week or 2.
Yeah, Neil, probably the most glum I think I've ever seen you. First half, I've got to be honest, I thought we were really poor in the first half. I thought we were lucky to be going in 1-0 up. There was obviously that marginal offside. I thought Liverpool peppered the goal a couple of times, created a couple of chances. But in the second half, I thought Liverpool were perhaps all the things Dolan just used to describe us. I thought you could have applied a lot of those things to Liverpool as well. It kind of felt like 2 poor teams at times, but you felt like because of that, both teams were going to get chances. And that Ross Barkley one at the end, I thought we could go on and win the game at that point, but unfortunately it's transpired that they've gone at the other end and scored.
I agree. Yeah, I agree for much of the second half, especially when much of the first half as well. It was 2 poor teams playing against each other. But I'm glad that you kind of mentioned that Ross Barkley piece at the end, because when your luck is out, your luck is out, and when you're down in confidence, you're down in confidence. And you know, it's one of those things whereby he just, like, if he doesn't do anything right, he doesn't do anything at all. You know, so he puts that into the top of the stand, and then all of a sudden they don't have their break down the other side. And oh, sorry, I thought it was frozen. Was I frozen there, guys? Was I talking to myself?
No, you're fine. I'm just glum, mate. I can't even chip in. I'm just annoyed.
I couldn't hear Eddie, couldn't even hear myself talking back. But if he puts that into, like, if he kicks that over the stand, they don't break the other way. So, it's one of those ones for boy, when your luck is out, you just can't do anything right. And I kind of feel sorry for him in that aspect even tonight. But, they break almost directly from that. They get their chance at the end. Emi Martinez pulls off an unbelievable save. And then all of a sudden, Trent, it falls to Trent at the edge of the area. Some people are saying Jacob Ramsey should have got out to him a small bit quicker. Maybe he should have known that he was going to cut in his right hands. It's a brilliant finish. Yeah,
he's got it around so many players. I think to have a go at Jacob Ramsey, I think is a little bit harsh. It just feels typical because Trent's been getting panned for weeks. I thought he had a poor game. I thought he could be got at, and then he pops up on the bloody left-hand side for absolutely no reason at all. And Ben's won in against Villa, and now he's the hero. And you got Jamie Carragher, who I didn't enjoy his commentary today, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Absolutely loving life, and it's just really annoying because I think a draw was probably a fair result on the balance of play.
I absolutely, I think so too. I had resigned myself to a draw almost even before the game because I thought that their two centre halves could be got at. We've seen Alisson has thrown a couple in this season as well, and for our goal, you could see both centre halves kind of stood up and weren't quite sure who was going to do what, and then Watkins takes that shot and it goes in underneath Alisson. So I think that triangle was more or less to blame for the goal that we scored as well. So it's and that Trezeguet one just defies all physics the way it comes back off the post. It's just for me, that's as Aston Villa as it gets. There's actually a very funny a kind of view from the other side of the goals whereby the ball hits off the post and you can see Watkins is lying on the ground, and as the ball comes back off the post, he just you can see him springing back into life. You don't expect the ball to come back off the post that way, but them's the breaks and we just didn't get them. I'm just deflated because it was a last minute goal. If they'd scored in the 80th minute or something, I don't think I would be as glum. But that one was a stinger for me now. I think it was a bit of a stinger.
Yeah, a couple of stoppage time goals recently as well. You think back to Newcastle a few weeks ago as well, where we chucked it away at the end of the game. It's a little bit frustrating, but in fairness, we've scored a couple in stoppage time ourselves this season. Just before we go any further, just a quick word about our sponsors, Purity, because we've got a very special discount code that we're now about to reveal on this show. We've got our usual discount code, which is #VillaView, which gets you 10% off everything. But if you can use #VillaView15, and that'll get you 15% off the magnificent Villa kegs that Purity do as well. You can use both codes at the same time. So you get your 15% off the kegs, 10% off anything else you buy. That code's going to run until midnight tomorrow, the 15% one. So yeah, if you want to get yourself a keg, make sure you're logging on after the show or during the show while you're watching us and get that keg ordered and get yourself some other stuff as well. And you'll get a healthy little discount. As well as that, by using the code, you will also enter yourself into a competition to win an Aston Villa third shirt, the one I've got on now, the one Villa wore today and lost at Anfield in. I don't think we've bloody won in this shirt all season. We seem to do well in the black away shirt, but not so well in the white one. So yeah, plenty of stuff there. Go and sink your teeth into the Purity website, get yourself some Purity goods, get yourself some big discounts, and potentially get yourself an Aston Villa third shirt as well. So you'll never forget the day we lost in stoppage time at Anfield. Nigel, back to you. Let's go right back to the start of the day, then team selection. Marvellous Nakamba came in. Would have been a bit of a clamour for Keenan Davis to start, and as it's panned out, we haven't actually seen Keenan Davis at all through the whole 90 minutes, which I was a bit surprised about. I thought it was a good game for Nakamba to come in, and actually, in some ways, when he came off, I think he was the wrong substitution, because I think out of all the central midfielders, he was probably the one that was doing his job the best.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. When I first seen the team sheet, I thought it was a little bit defensive, if I'm honest. But I don't think he's ever going to start Keenan Davis in a game like that, because he tends to do better when coming off the bench, especially if you're winning. But I think he could have made a nuisance of himself today. So I think there was definitely a space for him to come on. And Nakamba, for me, was having a great game. But I think the tide really turned when Trez went off. I thought Trez was having such a good game. And he was really making a nuisance of himself. And
he was good, man.
And not only was he carrying an injury, poor old Tyrone was carrying an injury as well. I think things like that just hurt us. And when you're playing a team like Liverpool, who thrive on pressure thrive on pressurising opponents, and really put you under the cosh, you're in trouble, aren't you? And that caused us to make a few wayward passes and a few sloppy things. But all in all, I thought we were good. I thought we showed a bit of fight, and we, especially after the way they started. I mean, they started, like you said, they were peppering the goal, and we stood up to them and had to go back, and it was just unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, Dolan, do you think we almost showed them a little bit too much respect in the first half? Because I felt like we kind of went there like this is the Liverpool of last year, a team that's going to constantly put you under pressure, a team that's bang on form, everything they do is right. But I've kind of felt like we approached the game like it was that Liverpool, and actually when we disrupted them and didn't give them some respect, we ended up scoring off it, albeit it's a goalkeeping error. Do you know what I mean? Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I thought our best spell was probably whenever they went 1-1, and then we had that little maybe 10 or 12 minutes where we, hit the post and sort of kept the ball quite well. But listen, man, I've not seen us play well since Boxing Day. If I'm being brutally honest, I've not seen us. I've not enjoyed watching us since Boxing Day. And this COVID, we spoke about it at the start of the year. Will this COVID outbreak derail the season? I think it has. Personally,
we'll never know, though, will we? We'll never know whether that was the reason. Jack
I think we will. I think we will know because it's happening. I think we're night and day from where we were in the start of the first 3 months of the season. I mean, like I said, in December we were probably the best team in the league. We were playing some outstanding football and everybody loved us. And now we've just gone back to being a bit boring, a bit flat, and a bit placid, and a little bit weak and making mistakes, and we look disjointed. And I haven't enjoyed watching this. I've enjoyed the last 50 minutes against Fulham, but apart from that, I've not enjoyed watching this since Boxing Day. And it's like I said, we didn't really lay a glove on them at all today, and we just sort of let them play through us. They were getting up the pitch far too quickly, and they were back to front too quickly, and we just weren't aggressive enough in the middle of the park. And nobody had a good game for me. I mean, Trez was probably the best of a bad bunch, but nobody stood out for me at all. So there was too many mistakes, too many misplaced passes, and we didn't deserve to win the game. And a point would have been massive, but even that, if you look on the whole on the entirety of the game, they should have been out of sight after the first 25 minutes. And we couldn't hold on, which is a shame, because we've been great when we've gone ahead this season. As the stats have shown, when we go ahead, we tend not to lose. But just sort of starting to creep in a bit more now, and I just want to kind of get this season we're done with, and look forward to the summer and rebuild again, because we're so short up top, so short of options up top, and that's what's causing us. That's what's hurting us at the minute. Really surprised Keenan didn't come on. I wouldn't have started him, but I definitely would have brought him on. Definitely would have brought him on with their back four being as shaky as they've been. I definitely would have brought him on. So I think Smith missed a trick there, but yeah, I mean, say we didn't deserve anything from today at all.
What do you make of the midfield now? Because I've mentioned the word passive previously since we've been doing this podcast today, and there's just something not right in there. It just feels like everyone is off it. Whoever we play in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
McGinn, I thought, was good for the first 15, 20 minutes again, and then he disappears, and I just feel like the game's passing the midfield by almost. But I feel like that most weeks nowadays.
Yeah, once again, that's just been almost a signature of our play all year. Even when we were playing well, midfield was. I think personally that the tactic is built that our midfield is there to be passive, so that we can get back, defend 10 yards outside our box, because that's where we kind of come into our own. You notice that's where our press begins to start. It's a very low block when we get in there, and it's. It's just one of those things. It looks horrible on TV, because it looks very how will I put it? It looks like you don't want control of the game. Whereas what for me anyway, this is just my view on it. What I tend to see is that we want control of the position of where we start to defend, because it's. For Dean Smith, it's protect that bit in front of the D. I think essentially that's what I see, and force them down the wings. But it's just been a bit out of kilter. And I don't want to say that we've been found out in that area, but even at the start of the year, we have outlets, but they're just not working. Like Traore wasn't working today. So when you get the ball in midfield and when you win it back, you need to get it to the wings really quick when you have the setup that we have. And when Jack Grealish is there, it's perfect because he can go off on one of those runs like he did against Burnley, or even like I think today is the anniversary of the goal he scored against Rotherham in the championship. So like when you're missing that, the team is very much built around having somebody who can carry the ball on the wings. Traore today I thought was poor. He had only a 50% pass success rate. Didn't really do much. I think he was
dreadful. He was dreadful.
I bet you if you look back at it, what you're going to see is that he played more as an inside forward, closer to Watkins, and didn't really give Cash that much protection. And I bet you if you were to look between the two, between that side and the left-hand side, Trezeguet seemed to be a lot closer to target. They seemed to link up an awful lot more. But, going back to that midfield, it's a conundrum. It really is, because no matter who you bring in, it's just not making the difference in there. Nakamba got a few blocks in at the edge of the area, all right, but he's not going to spray a 60-yard ball and set someone free, So it's something that I'm sure they're going to look at, and I'm sure there will be reinforcements brought in there. But I think the brightest part today it was Ollie Watkins. I think Ollie Watkins once again was just fantastic. I just think he's an absolutely superb player, and I could watch him all day, every day.
He needs some help, though. There's a lack of help around him, and I think what you're saying about the defence and the low block, I think that's actually very true, and it's very difficult to criticise the way we defend because we've defended so well all season. It's been a magnificent season defensively. It's given the team a great platform, and that's the reason why we've won a fair few games by the odd goal. But it's not quite working at the moment because we're not keeping clean sheets, and when you're not exactly free flowing and free scoring like we are at the moment, you're probably going to struggle to win games, and that's exactly what's transpired. We got away with one, Nigel, right on half time. I was relieved, I was delighted, but to be honest, you absolutely hate to see it because VAR now, it's just getting beyond a joke. We've been the victim of that a few times, so it's very difficult to feel sorry for Liverpool because it's happened to us so many times, but they've got to do something about it because that's, quite frankly, it's stupid that goal's been ruled out.
Oh yeah, it was a definite goal as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, Matty Cash has gone to get it and he doesn't touch it. Doesn't change the flight of the ball. It's clearly a goal, but listen, how many times has it done us? And as far as
killed us.
It's absolutely killed us in the past, like time and time and again. And when you look at it, if it's a referee making a mistake of a decision, then it evens itself out. And as far as I'm concerned, if they're going to have VAR, then that evens itself out. There's nothing we can do. Yeah. No point moaning. Just get on with it. And there's nothing you can do. But you're right, we did get away with it. And but we showed character to play a bit better in the second half and have a go at them. And I thought we made a few changes and it did help us, but we're lacking one or two players to really make a difference. The obvious one being Jack, and it's going to be an interesting summer to see who we can bring in to support the lads.
Yeah, I think every week at the moment the board are probably thinking, perhaps we need to add one more to our shopping list in the summer because as I say, going forward at the moment, it's just a bit stodgy. And one man who was excellent again today, to be fair, Martinez in goal, Dolan. The goal was a little bit unfortunate because he's made a good save, hasn't he? And they've tucked it away afterwards. He's had a good game today, but we've still shipped two in. Since he's been so close to this record, we just can't seem to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you think we've got away with one there. You sort of look back to that Wolves game when he made that, we pulled off that worldly save, and it was very similar to that. And you think, okay, he's kept us in the game once again, and we'll get away with a point. But they didn't manage to clear lines. Ball didn't drop to us, and it was a great finish from Trent. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he was good, but it's just really flat. Just really flat at the minute, and I still think we're 5 or 6 players short. And we are certainly a team in transition. I think we should touch on the statement that the club made during the week, the fact we're debt free, and the plans that the owners are going to put in place. For me, that's what keeps me going. The fact that the club is in great hands, and we're only going to get better and better, and we're only going to progress, and it's very much a team in transition. And at this stage last season we all thought we were relegated, and now we're disappointed that we're coming off the back of a last minute screamer, from Liverpool. And so I just think we've come a long way, and that team they've set a very, very high standard for themselves. And when you set a really high standard and you set the bar high and you're consistently very, very good week in, week out, then that's when the criticism comes. When you set yourself such high standards. I mean, look at Liverpool. They've been dreadful this season, but they've set themselves such high standards over the last 3 seasons that, they're going to get every mistake, every bad performance just gets scrutinized. And at the minute, we haven't got Jack, we're not playing well, and we're getting scrutinized, and quite rightly so, because, as I said before, football is very much a game. It's a game of emotions, very much in the present. There's no thoughts about the future, and yeah, at this present moment, we've been truly awful over the last 4 months. But I'm for one still very excited about the club and very excited about the summer, and I think we'll kick on again next season, and I really think we can get into those top 6 places next season. I really do.
Yeah, Neil, obviously you weren't on the preview, but it comes back to we've come so far this season. There's so much to be happy about, so much to be positive about. I think all 4 of us here think the club's in an excellent place, and it's really good to see. And the stuff, obviously, in the week from the owners about being debt-free, about the expansion plans to the infrastructure and things like that. We know they'll spend big in the summer. The club's in an excellent place. But it does feel like Dolan said a number of times, I don't want the season to drift away. I don't want the season to drift away. It feels like it's drifting away.
Mm.
But firstly, if they want to pay for any of the new stands, they should just release a T-shirt that says "Football is very much a game played in the present," and that quote by Chris Dolan, because that's a fantastic quote. I want a T-shirt with that on it. I'd buy it anyway, because it absolutely is. And I just before I answer the question, that's 100% it. We do this show at halftime. We've got a completely different demeanor. Everything is looking rosy. We're wiping our brows. Football really is in the present, and that's, that kind of just brings it all back home to me, that we've had a fantastic season, and it's okay to look back in it, but it's also okay to look forward to the future as fans, to be able to do that. Take your licks tonight and just be, I suppose, proud of what the team has had. But you did mention with regards to off-field, I suppose, finances and things. Look, there's waiting lists of 30,000. There's the 30,000 season tickets were sold. There was waiting lists. Obviously, building new stadia or building new parts to the stadia. I like even little things like the way that they're making a big deal out of disabled access to the stadium. It making the stadium inclusive. These guys are proper businessmen. They're global businessmen. They know what it takes to make a quote unquote franchise, not using the word as, as a kind of a mockery, because they've built franchises in different sports. They know what it takes to make money from a sport. So making everything inclusive, bringing in I think the biggest thing that they're actually going to do is bringing in the inner city academy. Within the actual city itself, to be able to, because like there are kids that won't be able to maybe afford a bus journey or a taxi ride, or I don't want to have parents to be able to take them to Bodymore. So having an internal an inner city academy for me is just like, that's music to my ears. Also the fact that more seats in the stadium means more chance of me getting my season ticket back. So so little things like that from a selfish point of view. But we are absolutely blessed when you look at even the guys across the other side of the city, and some of the charlatans they've had, some of the charlatans we've had. Whatever gods are smiling down on us with regards to the 2 men we have driving the ship at the moment. Please keep smiling down on us, because Villa can go places. They absolutely can. They are a massive historic club. Taking my glasses off, my claret and blue glasses off, and me, I love a good transfer window. So keep there, as long as we can keep them happy and keep the money flowing. I'll be happy in the off season, I think, with some of the purchases.
Yeah, back to the present, Nigel. Do you feel like it is drifting away a little bit? We need something to kick us back into gear. You thought it might be the Fulham result last weekend. You thought when we went on that comeback, had that mad 10-15 minutes, that might reignite us a little bit. But I know Jack's missing, so that is a negative. But Dean Smith said about, it feels like everyone's waiting for Jack to come back, including the players. It does feel like that, but you know, we've got plenty of games to play. We've played plenty of games without him. We need to get a few results.
Yeah, but I guess the problem is we haven't won many games without him, and that's a sorry fact. Yeah, I do think it's drifting, but we're 10th now, and we're on 44 points. We're still above Arsenal. We've got a tough run in, but I think the Fulham game really did give me hope. Like the way we turned it around, I thought it was brilliant. You know, after playing so poorly for an hour or whatever it was, and then whether it's Fulham imploding or us turning the screw a little bit, I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of both, but I think we've got quality in the team to mix it with the teams like Liverpool and stuff. Obviously, they're never going to be as good. The players, you know, they're a different class. But I think we can, when we play together, we can do it. Just sometimes it doesn't gel, and it's just a shame that there's a tough run in now. I think there is a tough run in, but you never know. You never know what's around the corner. I'm just a bit gutted that we didn't sign any backup for Ollie Watkins, because my biggest fear is if he pulls up now in the next couple of games or something. I don't want to tempt fate, touch wood. But what would you do? Is Keenan Davis going to start every game, and is he going to be able to lead the line? You know,
I've said that all. I've said that all season. Nigel, I think it's criminal to go into 2 Premier League seasons with only 1 recognised strikers, and both those strikers never having played a game in the Premier League. I just don't get it. I just cannot work it out why we're so short up top. I just don't understand it.
It doesn't look like he's gonna be coming back anytime soon. Keenan's only played a handful of games. I don't know how many minutes has he played this season. Does anyone know?
Not much.
He doesn't score. He's got no goals under his belt from. I think he's just a little bit naive and a little bit worried about that. But hopefully Ollie Watkins doesn't pull up and we'll be okay. I see what he's doing, because he knows Traore can play up front, but he's had a couple of bad games now, and I'm not sure if that's going to work. We don't know, do we? But
he's bang off it at the moment, Traore. There was a period where I thought, oh, this guy's brilliant. What a signing! He looks great, but he's suddenly just become so inconsistent. He got his assist against Fulham, and I thought, right, here we go. That might give him a little bit of a lift off again. But today, just completely ordinary, and just not really offering us anything at times down the flanks. Depending on who players there, we just look like we've got nothing. And Jack Grealish can't come back soon enough. And God forbid if anything does happen to Ollie Watkins, because that's the fact is as well for him. He's played every single minute of the season. I know he's used to playing a lot of games in the Championship, I suppose, at the very least, as that's a 46-game season, so he's used to playing a long season. But you can't be expecting your striker just to play every single minute. There won't be no other club who's operating in that manner.
It's just his work rate, mate. That's the thing.
He's great, though.
So hard, running the channels and stuff, and you're just worried that he's just gonna have burnout. Now he's been called up for England and stuff. You're like, it must be supersonic or something. But I think, look, something's got to be done. We've got to do something, because I do worry. And like you say, I do think that the season could be drifting away. If we finish in the top half, I think it'll be a result.
Yeah. Dolan, well, let's look at that. 10th, again, I say it every week. If we were offered this at the start of the season, we'd absolutely take it. But because of the way things have been and we're not ending the season well, it feels a little bit negative at the moment. What can we do to get back on track? Not the obvious of Jack Grealish coming back, but what can we do?
Well, we can't do anything because we haven't got the players to do much. Let's be frank. We haven't got enough quality to and again with the games we have coming up, I don't fancy us at all. Maybe I fancy us against West Brom and Palace. That's about it. Jack plays today. I think we win that game. You look at the games that he's missed. We definitely pick up 3 points against Newcastle. The Wolves at home 0-0. He definitely makes an impact. What else? What other games has he missed that we've been absolutely turgid in?
We won it. I can remember we won it Leeds and we beat Fulham. I'm struggling to remember. But to be fair, we were not on great form just before he got injured. He played the 0-0 against Brighton and we were bad.
But I think
we were bad.
I think he stays in the side, mate. And we're on 50 points.
Yeah, we're on more points. I think
we're on 50 points, and he's just so valuable. And but no, Dan, I've been saying it all season. Even when we were on that great run at the start of the season, we went 4-5 on the spin. You look at the bench. There's no one on the bench. There's nobody on the bench to make an impact. There's nobody. I mean, yeah, last week the subs made an impact. Fulham have been awful. Fulham were awful last night. I thought they were awful against us last Sunday, but we've just been equally as bad. We've been equally as bad, and it is just a shame the way the season's panning out, because you read some tweets and I try and stay away from the hashtag, but people going, Smith out and I blame this on Smith.
No.
And all this nonsense on it, but it just you just don't want to see it, because the sad thing is, like, players read it, managers read it. I don't care what you say. Dean Smith, I know for a fact he has an Instagram account. I know he reads this stuff. I know he does. Players read it. It's just not good, and it shouldn't be like this. But unfortunately, because we are reliant on Jack Grealish, we don't have anybody step up. Just don't have anybody to come in and step up. Louis Barry's, people are talking about Louis Barry. I've said it a few times. What I hear in the club is he's just not quite ready yet. He's just not quite physically. He's just not physically ready yet to come in and make an impact. And I don't think Louis Barry's going to be your answer. But we're just miles off it. We're miles off it in terms of squad depth. But again, it goes back to my point of we are building season on season. You look where we were when Smith came in, and people say, again, this comes back to my quote, football is very much in the present. You look at where we were when Smith came in, you look at where we are now, you look at where we were this time last season, and we are streaks ahead of where we thought we'd be and where we probably should be. Shouldn't have stayed up last season. We had no right to stay in that division last season. We were absolutely appalling all season. We managed to do it. And we've kicked on. We've kicked on from relegation candidates to get to being frustrated that we're not getting into Europe. And like I say, these players have set the standards. They've set the bar really high for them. And supposedly, whenever you're having such a great season and you fall off it, then questions do get asked, and they'll know that. But that's only because they've been so great for 25 games or whatever it's been. But we'll see what happens, mate. Football's a funny game. We could have easily won that game today, and we'll easily have chances to win games where we don't expect it. Hopefully, we can turn up against that. Everton are kind of their season starting to pan off a little bit. Even the Man City game, I was watching the Leeds game today, and I know they've got the Champions League game next week. Then they've got the semi-final of the FA Cup. Then they've got the League Cup final. They've got a lot of games, but again, they've got the squad. They've got the squad to deal with it. You look at today; they had De Bruyne and Foden on the bench. It's ridiculous, So we're never going to get to that level, but we need competition for places. We need to have somebody knocking on the door for each position. As you said, Watkins has played every minute of the season. He's been brilliant. He's not the kind of guy that for me has an arrogance about him. I think he just plays that way regardless. But he needs some competition. He needs some help.
Point, Chris. I think from my point of view, the fact is it's all left to him, and there's not much else killer instinct in front of the goal, and I think that's the problem, because Ollie's having to run the channels and hold the ball up, and he needs some runners, man, who can stick the ball in the back of the net. But the thing, there's no easy games left, right? So I don't think we can guarantee we're going to get points from Newcastle and teams like that. But however, I think we can. We can win games that we might expect to lose, and we might lose games that we should expect to win. That's the way football is. We know that, but let's just hope we get a few more results, I guess.
Well, and I will be fuming if we don't get top half. I'll be raging if we can't get top half, because if we blow that now, then there's something not quite right. Because if we don't finish top half, then I'll be pissed off. I really will be. And I think to come so far and to dwindle away, again, I always get very nervous when I see Jack Grealish posting pictures on his Instagram of himself watching the midweek Champions League games. I always feel very uncomfortable when I see those images.
In fairness, I'm sitting there watching the Champions League. It doesn't mean I'm going to Man City.
No, but
congratulations, Dan.
Yeah, well, they've been sniffing around. They've been sniffing around City TV, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay. Just before we go, no, just a quick one, because obviously Line of Duty is back on again tomorrow night. We left your character in a little bit of trouble. You probably can't tell us a single thing. I won't put you in any awkward positions, but he's in trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, Well, it looks that way. Yeah.
It looks that way.
You know what? I've signed that many contracts and that many disclaimers.
Non-disclosures. Yeah, non-disclosures. Dangerous.
All I can say is make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on BBC One and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, but Dolan's never watched it. Absolutely.
No, but you know what it is? It's really weird because the opening scene, I think, of the opening scene of this season, when they're in the car and they're doing the rounds, that was my local. There was the opening scene. Everyone's seen it. I'm saying that was my local sweet shop as a kid. You know, that's the chalk box, and it's just very weird seeing clips when things are shot in Belfast, because nothing ever good happens in Belfast. Well, as we see now at the minute, but nothing really ever happened in Belfast of any note. No one bothered coming. So it's kind of really cool that I grew up where it's being filmed, and it's just great. And it's a great bunch of people. Like Martin's an absolute legend. Vicky's great, and it's just a great cast. But I've never seen it. But I have to watch it. I do.
You go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
It's inexcusable, especially when we've got a friend in it as well. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, I know Neil's enjoying Line of Duty at the moment, aren't you, Neil?
I absolutely love it. Yeah, Adrian Dunbar's quips and lines, and I'm sure they're not scripted. Like, he didn't float down the lagoon in a bubble. And one stage he turned around to a guy and said, "Hold your whisht," and I burst laughing on the sofa. It was because my grandmother used to say that to me the whole time. It's a quintessentially Irish thing that I know mustn't be picked up anywhere else other than, you know, by even people who are way older than me in Ireland. So like all these little quips that they have that he has are just fantastic. But yeah, I enjoy it absolutely. Every episode has just been brilliant. And Chris, you're in for an absolute treat if you go back and start at episode 1 and watch the whole way through, because it's a banger.
No, definitely.
It's great to see you on there again, Nigel. I've enjoyed seeing you back on there. First time for a few series, isn't it? So it's good to have you back on the TV. Been in Peaky Blinders as well. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, go and check Nigel out on that as well. I think that just about does us. The producer's obviously desperate for me to mention the competition again because he's been flashing it up all the way through since when we've been talking. So yeah, if you use either of our codes, the hashtag VillaView for all of Purity's goodies, and hashtag VillaView15 will get you 15% off the keg. You'll be entered into a competition to win an Aston Villa third kit. So yeah, go and do that, and someone obviously will be lucky enough to win that. But go and check out Purity stuff, because honestly, I know they do send me stuff and it feels like I have to say it, but it genuinely is absolutely brilliant stuff, and I love drinking it. So yeah, if you haven't used Purity before, go and have a look on their website, get yourself a Villa keg and get yourself some of their other beers as well, if that's your bag. Won't be a show for a while now. I guess the next one will be in the week leading up to Man City. We'll have a match preview, so keep your eyes peeled on our social media channels and we'll let you know when that's coming up. Of course, there will be a post-match point on Wednesday the 21st of April as well. After that game, that feels quite a long time away, but to be honest, after the way we've lost that game, I'll enjoy not having Villa for probably a week or so. I think that will do us all good to have a break. Thanks to the guys for coming on and joining us on the show, especially Nigel. Obviously very, very famous now, so it's very good to get him on. Thanks ever so much to everyone who's tuned in as well. And thanks to Purity once again for sponsoring the show. Only one thing left to say: up the Villa.